Hi, I'm Rita. I'm a mother of a kid in PCIS. I'm going to go really fast because I have a lot to say. I'm glad that I'm wrapping this up kind of because I'm going to go with some personal details about my life in Plymouth in like the past 6 years. So I'm going to tell a true story. I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's really not my story to tell, but I think it's important for people to hear this right now. 3 years ago, I got a phone call from a friend asking me to go to court with her for support. Of course, I said yes. What followed was beyond disturbing. She had to go to court that day because a man who was previously part of her life committed heinous sexual acts to a child. He was caught, convicted, and released. Years went by, and this pedophile was trying to make himself look better on paper by getting some of his restraining orders removed. One of them was hers. At the time, this man was a member of one of Plymouth's local churches. While he was in jail, the prison chaplain, who was also a member of this local church, and other members helped to pass messages to his victim by taking them and putting them in plain envelopes and sending them to her home so that her guardians wouldn't know that they were coming from the prison. At his hearing, the pedophile walked in with his new wife, also from the church, along with a few other members who spoke on his behalf. The pedophile showed no signs of regret or sorrow for what he did. On the contrary, he was aggressive. His victim was also in court. They came to speak on behalf of my friend. The pedophile's new wife glared at her the whole time, stared her down like she was the bad guy. I couldn't believe what I was seeing or being told. I didn't understand why the church was trying to help a pedophile hide. There are other men in Plymouth who I've seen canoodling with hate groups who attend some of these churches that have directly tried to intimidate myself and my child, who was a minor at the time, with threats of sexual violence. There was also a fake wedding at one of these churches. A couple pretended to get married to gain access to the church youth group. They had a ceremony for show with the church, but it wasn't a legal wedding. One of the wedding participants is now...
That's not your decision to make.
I'm sorry. Let me finish. You can hear me out because these are probably your churches, and that's why you don't want to hear it. All right? Had one for a show. One of the wedding participants is now a Plymouth police officer, and her husband later denied even being married when she ran for the school committee. For these reasons and others, I'm extremely concerned for the safety of the children in these churches. Are they being warned about the predators they share a pew with? Are they being given the tools they need to stop pregnancy, disease, and predators? Are they being made to feel ashamed if they are LGBT? These kids may be the most vulnerable kids in our community. These churches are not only trying to stop their kids from learning about sexual education and consent, they are trying to block it for all of our children. If anything, we should be taking away their right to opt their kids out. They absolutely should not be making decisions for the rest of us. Luckily for them and the predators in their midst, I don't get to make those decisions for their kids. And I hope we never go back to the days where the church gets to make those decisions for my kids. And I took some notes, so I'll go to do I think that the sperm game is bad? I actually think that sounds kind of fun. Okay, so.